Good evening and welcome to our incredible cooking show. Sometimes we get a cameo appearance from Sarah, but normally it's just me because I'm the cook in the house. And we have a little companion here, this beautiful betta fish that Sarah got. He's looking at us and he's all excited because he expects me to feed him. And it's so cute. You put a little teeny pellet in the water and they eat the pellet. It's one pellet a day. I think I might feed him at the end of the day and give him two pellets. But we are not going to cook the betta fish. We are going to make a steak fajitas out of a pretty pretty affordable piece of meat. I'm going to give you a look at it. I paid $3.19 for this and got $1 off. Now what this is a cube steak, and normally it's a very tough piece of meat like a bottom round. And we believe that conserving money is really essential when you're trying to, stay ahead of the economy. And the best way to do it is to look for your past due meat, which is, I just pulled it out of the freezer, so it was pulled out at the perfect time. It looks fresh. In fact, meat, if it's sitting around for a week or so, it's actually better. They call that Angus beef. All right. So what you're going to need today to make the steak fajitas and the steamed veggies are steamed veggies. And as you can see, I've got some really nice broccoli and cauliflower. And believe it or not, that's about $1 worth. Could be $1.50 worth. But if you look around for a good deal on that, that's good. Okay, we're also going to be cooking with celery. And let me close down on this screen. You can. Okay. We've got some celery that's been sitting around in the refrigerator that obviously is kind of wilted. But we don't want to let it go to waste, so it's a perfect use of something that's sitting around, especially celery. So we're going to cut off the bottom of that. You notice I conserve almost all of the celery. I'm going to get rid of a little bit of the top because I don't usually cook with that. And take off all the tops because they tend to be kind of orangey. You don't want that. All right, some basic cuts. Always wash off your vegetables too. All right, we're going to put that on the board. Oh, and I forgot, I was going to get an onion. I'll be right there. Okay, a medium-sized onion is all you need. And we're going to go ahead and peel the skin off of it. One of the easy ways to do that is to go like this. Take a slit down the side and grab a portion of it. You can do it on the other side too and make it a little easier. And again, just because I handle knives really fast doesn't mean you should do the same. So I've been cooking for 45 years of my 56 years on this planet, so it's not that big of a deal for me to cook quickly. All right, so we are going to chop up the onion and the celery with our typical 1/4 inch cut. But before we do that, we're going to marinate that steak. So I have this plate, which I always marinate on a plate, but I'm not going to actually use the plate. I'm using a plastic bag. You can cut it open. Now you can wash the meat off. That's probably a good idea. We're going to be using some chili powder as herbs. And we're also going to, see, it's been cubed already. You've seen this before at the market. We're going to be using garlic powder. Okay, throw that steak in this bag. Like that, see? And kind of lay it out flat. All right. Then take a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I'd say about 2 tablespoons. Not too much, otherwise it tastes too vinegary. And there's vinegar and ketchup. We're going to use some ketchup in here. Now you can use taco sauce, you can use anything. I'm going to do about 4 squirts of ketchup. There we go. And use my garlic. I use crunch garlic, organic. You can find any garlic you can. You can put some pepper in there. Onion powder. Remember I said chili powder? You can use chili powder. See if I get a better camera there. There we go. And just go at it. You don't have to worry about one side only. That's okay. All right, this is going to be kind of a Spanish flavor, so we're going to use a ground cumin in there. Very good for you, ground cumin is. Okay. Give it a little squirt of ketchup for a good measure. All right. All right, seal that up. But there's a secret ingredient I use when I'm cooking it over a long period of time, and that would be this. Meat tenderizer. Now, if I set this there for like a couple days, it would be perfect to use this. I'm just going to use a couple of squirts of this. But that's the stuff that will make it soften up over a couple days. But we're going to do this rather rapidly. I'm going to use a little Mrs. Dash because it's salt-free. Adds a lot of good herbs to it. I just use that as a rule. You can also add paprika or anything else that you might find handy in the refrigerator. Okay, so get that all smoothed out. Zip tie that top. And then start pounding. Okay, our group will make sure you never become president. Oh, really? Well, good for you. I don't think that's going to work for you. Because I've already beaten you at a game you don't even know you're playing. Yeah, some of you don't realize, you know, if this was not fajitas, I would add rosemary. But I prefer rosemary with lamb and pork. There you go. Just keep beating that. All right. You can flip it over. You can do whatever you want. You want to make sure that thing is sealed so it doesn't spray all over the counter. Yeah, you don't want it to spray all over the counter. All right. So how's that? Looks nice. All right, cool. We have scumbag mode off. The vinegar is a rapid enzyme builder. I'm going to give you a little tip here. Cholesterol that you get from meat is reduced by 50% when you marinate. Studies have shown that the cholesterol that causes bad cholesterol in your body reduces by 50% when you marinate. The vinegar keeps it from going bad. If you were to leave this meat out for a couple days, you certainly could. I don't recommend it, but you certainly could. When I mean out, I mean in the refrigerator. All right. Now, we're going to cut these veggies. Keeping your fingers away from the blade. No bigger than a 1/4 inch. All right. And we'll do the onion. Side slices, my usual method. All right. Nice. Okie dokie. I just used a dash, like 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of vinegar on that one. Yeah, those are the same freezer bags. Comes from Walgreens. That's right. Called Nice. It's a name brand. Nice. Okay, these fajitas are going to go on a big ring. So we're going to go ahead and do the big ring. All right. Get that started. Dave's Kitchen, cooking with cumin. Yeah, you can use that too. Anything, cayenne's a little too much, but if you really want to go in that direction, you could do habanero, jalapeno, poblanos, yellow peppers, chili peppers. Oh golly, the threats keep coming, man. Boy, these people are really frightened I'm going to take down the Trumpster. Wow. People love me, man. They don't like Donald Trump. They laugh at my jokes. He doesn't make jokes. Yeah. You like cumin? They found that cumin was actually good for people who are suffering from mental problems. Not mental problems as in psychosis, but memory issues like Alzheimer's. I don't think cumin cures psychosis. Yeah, it's like cumin, like I said last week, is a poor man's sassafras. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, you like that? Check IMs. No, I'm a very serious candidate, but I have had no media attention whatsoever. Believe me, I'd be all business if I could get on TV. But I've had to make this show entertaining, and there is no other way than to make it humorous, offer a variety like this, the cooking show every Thursday. I mean, who would think of doing that, run for president? We used to have a gaming show. Okay, that pan's getting hot. You want to start it out at about, I would say, a level 2. And I, of course, use my usual olive oil, which I get at discount. I got that for $1.50 for a whole container of olive oil. That's a good deal. Extra virgin. Okay, put it on a hot pan and get that cooking before you throw your onions and celery in. And if you really want to keep going, you can still keep pounding away here. Spank your monkey. That looks really good. Okay. Now the big question is, do you cut the meat now or do you cut the meat later? That's the question. Now if you cut it now, it's really kind of messy, but it's easy to pull out. You won't have to mess with the dinner toward the end of the show. So I'm going to say cut the meat now. I'm going to rinse my hands off. Make sure they're nice and clean, which of course they are. Turn around. Drop that meat in the pan. This is garbage time, but I use some of the juice in here. So what I'm going to do is add a little water to this, and I'll put all this in the final blend as seasoning. This takes a little bit of water. And then you can seal it up and kind of do whatever you want with it. So that'll be nice seasoning at the end of the meal. That way you don't waste a thing. All right, that's getting kind of warm. All right, we're going to cut this with a knife. Whoa, almost lost a knife there. David, I think the trolls at Rassi are suffering from psychosis. Yeah, I think they are suffering from psychosis. The trolls are messed up in the head. A lot of them are totally lost. Hey, you know what I like to do? I like to put a little butter in the meal. It's such a warm day, my butter's melting, so I'm going to just go ahead and grab a little of this. I love the taste of butter. It adds a sort of richness to the meal. You don't have to put a lot. That kind of doesn't help with your cholesterol, but Let's face it. It's a nice taste enhancer. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut this meat now. Cut it in little strips. Real small. Like an inch long. It practically is falling apart in my hands. Look at this. This is meat, already tender meat. Look at that. It's just ripping apart. It must have been a good piece of meat they put in there. You can never tell with cube steak, but that's really tender. Look at that. Wow. And I guess pounding it helped a little bit. With this type of meat, you do get a little grizzle, but it's not noticeable when you're eating it. Now, of course, you could eat flank steak. You could pay $8.99 a pound for your meat. You could pay $17.99 a pound for meat for Kobe beef. And in Japan, it's $30 a pound. So consider yourself lucky in America. But this is amazingly cheap. I get almost a pound of meat here for $2. And that's pretty low cost. And that's included in the budget here. The onions, celery, the vegetables, and the tortillas all come to $5. We're going to be using whole wheat tortillas. Okay, we want to get that sizzle going, so let's get the mic. Position the mic for the sizzle. Oh, I turned the wrong burner on. My bad. Okay, we're doing a front burner then. Okay, I'm going to take it up to 5. Okay, now I can sit and talk to you. And talk to you. No, I never threatened anybody. I've never threatened a soul in my life. I'm like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. That's right. Nice, Dave. Looks good. Cool. But yeah, some people are having a problem dealing with the Donald thing. And tonight we're going to talk about how Tony Schwartz, the author of The Art of the Deal, it wasn't Donald, it was Tony Schwartz. And Tony Schwartz did an amazing job today on NPR describing how disturbing it was to work around Donald Trump and how he's warning people that his character is not fit for the presidency. He said that he had to wait, well, it was 18, he spent like 18 days listening in to his phone conversations. But that was part of the deal. That was how he managed to find out more about Donald when he wrote the book. But Tony Schwartz did not sign a confidentiality agreement, even though Donald Trump is now threatening him, saying you can't speak about me. Tony didn't sign a confidentiality agreement, so he's actually very, very safe. He can talk about it. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that Donald was always annoyed when people talk to him. He's like instantaneously gets annoyed. And his attention span is really short. So he gets annoyed really easily, and his attention span is really short. I mean, to the point where he couldn't even believe it. He said that Donald was the worst person he's ever seen with these characteristics. Short attention span and gets annoyed at the drop of a hat. No, honestly, I don't listen to NPR on a regular basis. No, I only did it. It was weird. I was just tuning into the radio and I just went on NPR. I don't like NPR. I think they're funded by our government. We shouldn't even be funding them. They're a joke. They're a liberal, prop-up, biased station. But Tony Schwartz is not. He actually went out of his way to explain that, working with Donald was he would never probably have done it if he hadn't needed the money. So that's an interesting take. And this book, Art of the Deal, kind of made Donald a little bit more famous. Another thing that made Donald famous was the helicopter accident in 1989, which, I'm quoting Donald when I say 3 of his men, of the men working for him at the casinos, actually died in that helicopter incident. 2 pilots and 3 men that were top executives at his casinos. And he turned around to the press and said that it was great press. That's what he said. This is great press. 3 close colleagues of his dying in a helicopter accident, and he said it was great press. Yeah, and his casinos didn't work out too well. Those three men were going to be testifying in the bankruptcy hearings, and they died. So you got to wonder, a man who says that's great press, who doesn't even understand the implications of his statements. I mean, we've been seeing this over and over again in the kind of statements he's made about that young daughter of Marla Maples. Oh, it was just unbelievable what he said the other day. We had to turn the video off. We couldn't believe it. It was so inappropriate. All right, here we go. Sizzle cab. All right. Great. Get all those celeries in there. Now I'm cooking at level 5. If you're on a big burner, you want to use level 4 or 3. All right, and always use wooden spatulas if you can find them. They're really ideal. All right, I'm also going to put Italian seasoning in here. Italian seasoning is a good thing to add to it. Whatever's in your cupboard, really. But we'll talk more about the Tony Schwartz interview tonight when we discuss the Donald. Hey, I'm going to prep these veggies while those vegetables steam fry. Yeah, look at that. Nice little, do some steamed microwave vegetables. Yeah, actually Bernie had some good qualities, but Bernie's too old. He doesn't have the strength and the stamina. I, being a former Democrat and a young man, really, when you think about it, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to help this country. And it really frustrates me, having been censored for the past 7 years now by the mainstream media. And now with Donald taking 10 of my ideas, I'm even more frustrated. So you can imagine how, I'm trying to help the country and then my ideas are being plagiarized by Trump. You can imagine how this is turning out. And plus I can't even get the word out. And we got some pretty bad news I'll be talking about tonight on the show that really is shocking. Many of you will be blown away by what I'm going to tell you tonight. But it's regarding ballot access. Now, as you know, we've got a full-on write-in campaign going. And I think that's probably my best winning solution right now, because the odds are getting harder and harder for a person to get on a ballot in a minor party. And I'll explain that later tonight. Okay, so what I do is I turn the stalks into little wedges, so when you're eating them, you can actually have a stalk. Very good for you, the stalks are. And just make sure the flowers are kind of broken up. Broccoli, you don't want to break up. You can break it up at the table. It'll cook in its own, fully set up. You don't have to break those up. And you put the stalks on the top of the microwave dish. Otherwise, it won't cook as well if it's at the bottom. Okay? Pretty good advice from the Davester. Okay, pour a little water on that. No more than a quarter cup. And I use a little sea salt for flavoring. Okay, this is the original BPA free when it first came out. Microwave. Okay, got a nice seal on that. Still kind of sitting. Okay. We're going to throw it in for, got a very hot microwave, so we'll throw it in for 3 minutes at 1100 watts. And then we'll let it set. Whoa! That was wild, huh? Wow. That was something else. It's good this was only a small purchase of $7.99 for this camera. All right, we're getting something good in here. You want to make sure it's about 5 to 10 minutes on the stove here. It's getting glazed. Yeah. I have not seen that video. If I click on it, it might. If I click on that, Leroy, it might interrupt the show. So I can't really go there yet. I could do that in the other show, in the other studio. But yeah, that was a wild shot, wasn't it? All right, we're looking at the marinated beef over here. We're going to lift the cover and drop the marinated beef in the pan, right on top of the onions. There you go. Press it around a little bit, around the onions, and cover it up. And always rinse your pans off because you don't want any beef sitting around. Okay, we still have that juice in the bag, see that? Okay, now one of the real strong required ingredients in this dish is, thank you. One of the reasons I'm making fajitas is I had a yellow pepper or an orange pepper that was kind of, I purchased it getting a little old, but you can see its surface is a little wrinkling a little bit. Still totally edible. There's no rotting going on here. I got this for 33 cents, so I'm including it in the $5 budget. So what I'm going to do is rinse it off. There we go. All right. And proceed to pull the seed out. Cut around the top, like that. Twist it. And you got the seed ball, you can plant peppers, which I did recently. And I'll show you what my garden has. I've got a garden in the kitchen here. You want to get all the peppers out of the center here. That can go to compost or right back in the garden. But look what I set up in the kitchen. I'll show it to you. Peppers always go in last, so you don't want to overcook them, especially with fajitas. Check this out. I have all these different types of peppers growing. That little pepper right there. I've got a pepper on the other side that is, gotta get the light on it pretty soon, but yeah, I planted 4 peppers. One's a yellow, green, red. I think I have a poblano pepper in there too. Very cool to grow things in your kitchen. Makes you feel good to see things grow. Helps the psyche. All right. Now with peppers, you don't want to dice them with fajitas. You want to slice them. So go kind of a thin slice like that. And they're going to go on top of the meat once I stir it. Now I'm only lifting the top of this container for very short periods of time. So the goal is to not actually lose the heat seal. And if you're cooking in the winter, it's a really great way to conserve heat. All right. Media loves action, I know. It's true. This video is action personified. Okay, we're going to take and stir that meat. Oh, it's cooking really well. Okay. Now you can put taco sauce in this and any number of things. There's your beef, sizzling away. Go ahead and put your peppers right on top of that. Okay. And this is time when you add the sauce that you had in the bag. And gauge how much redness you have in there. And if you don't have a lot of taco sauce, you want to get some more. But you know ketchup will work fine. So I'm going to add ketchup to show you guys how easy this is. Top it all off. That's about 4 more squeezes of ketchup. And then I'm going to go with a lot more chili powder. I'd say about 6 shakes of chili powder. Any more? You can definitely add garlic at this point. It's always good for it. Top it all off. Keep your flame at around 5 or 6. And I did want to get the cayenne because I noticed that this particular this particular chili powder I had was really weak. It was quite old. So I'm going to add a little cayenne. And you don't want to use a lot of this, just a little bit. Just a little sprinkle. Very light. This is African cayenne, so it's going to definitely add a little bit of spice to the taste. Okay, just keep that roaring away, cooking. The vegetables are cooking in their own heat right now, and they're going to be al dente. Those 3 minutes. 3 minutes at 1100 watts, 4 minutes at 800 watt microwave. If you got a small microwave, go 4 or 5 minutes. Cool. Okay, let's see if we can feed our beta here. Okay, there we go. What do you think? 6 shakes, yeah. I made the measurement up. I'm making it up on the fly. I cook organically. In an organic fashion, I make things. You know, I'm not going to have time to do cooking, Willie. Yeah. But if it's $1 billion to keep up the White House, I can cut the cost by half or more. We're looking at a chef in my area that I would be hiring who's an extremely proficient chef. And she's going to be happy to make probably $60,000 a year as a head chef. Whereas Obama would pay his head chef $130,000 a year. She'll be happy to get 60. The spices I get are actually organic. I purchase them from a special spice rack place that I fill my spices up with. All of my spices are from the 1940s and 30s, actually. I've got a collection up here. I'll show it to you. See that? I know you're looking at the water bottle. That's because the camera is on the water bottle. But that all those spices are from the 1950s and 60s and 40s, and yeah. The spices themselves are not from the 40s. Just the bottles are. They're kind of antique bottles. I'm going to say 50s for most of them, but late 40s on the other ones, yeah. Yeah, I know you were kidding. Okay. Yes, Donald, you took my ideas. You got 10 of them you've taken. I've got proof on redundant servers in the Netherlands. Actually, I'm not really sure where the servers are. I just say they're from the Netherlands. They might be in some other country. But yeah, we've been doing the show for 10 years talking about seawater pipelines, mobile medical units, stopping refugees, 1,000-mile fence. I even made fun of Elizabeth Warren and claimed that she was an Indian, or not an Indian. Yeah, and said that she should do a DNA test. So all the things that you're saying, I said 8 years ago, Donald. And I wouldn't doubt he's going to steal the beef fajitas. So I didn't think I would be able to actually create beef fajitas for Sarah that were tasty. But $5 for 5 meals is almost impossible. So welcome to Dave's Kitchen. It's kind of a menagerie of life forms here. I like to look at things living in front of me. It makes me feel good. And I love to see the earth grow things. I really do. And I love to see the ocean. That's why I live near the ocean. So this betta fish reminds me of the ocean. All right, that's what makes me tick. I'm glad you get to know me. It's 4:40 and we're coming down the line here. All right, let's give this a a big stir. What do you say? Take that wooden spatula and press it all in. Move it around, smush it around, and cover it up. Those peppers are still not done. All right, we are going to get the wheat tortillas out of the freezer. Okay. Whole wheat tortillas. We're going to pull 5 of these out of here. I'm only cooking for 3, so I'm going to save 3 for another meal. I end up eating more than I need to. There we go. I'm back up. All right, but this could easily feed 5 people, this meal. There's enough protein to go around. Your source of the RNC talked to Eric, and he said Donald watches our show every night with his speechwriters. Good. I'm glad. He better get ready, because I've been gearing up for this for the past 8 years. He's going to have to be at the top of his game to beat me. All right. Thank you for telling me that, Leroy. All right. So what I do with any tortillas, you can use corn tortillas too, but I would recommend non-GMO if you're going to get tortillas, but whatever. What I do is wet the top of nested plates here. See that? But I take it one step further. I use these atomizers. These are great, by the way. You pump them up. Pump it up. What I do is spray them lightly. As such. Now, there's already salt in here. You can spray both sides if you want. Spray a little of the pan so it doesn't stick. All right, and then take a little garlic, just dust it. Believe it or not, we're going to zap this in the microwave. All right. Take this pan right here, the top one, and put a little bit of water on it. Not the bottom, the top. I want to put a little bit of water in there. Just about not even a half a teaspoon. See that? Okay, and then invert it, and then zap it. We're going to go with 1.5 minutes on high, or 2 minutes on medium. All right, pretty cool. Open the top of this. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Beautiful fajitas. All right, I'm going to turn this off and let it set in its own heat. We are almost good. Yeah, it looks good, I know. Believe me, Taco Bell Willie is going to cost you so much money down the road, you'll be broke by the time you reach the apocalypse. I'm trying to help you guys conserve and make a really good meal. And it's all natural. With Taco Bell, you don't know what kind of preservatives you're getting. And you know those preservatives can cause problems in your life. Diverticulitis, colon cancer. The list goes on and on. Yeah, the micro tips are great. That'll be perfectly heated. The tortilla chips or the tortillas themselves will be ready for the fajita to drop in and roll over. And what I would recommend is slicing some cheese. So I'm just going to show you what I would do typically. Here's some organic Monterey Jack I picked up. You can use a slice of that in each one of them. That does take you close to $5 though. I mean, you're kind of running close. You're pretty close to the line. Now you're getting into the fancy areas, and if you don't like that, you can always use Parmesan. You know, if you don't have any money, broke, Willie. Willie's been doing Taco Bell too long. He ran out of money. They use Mexican organic meat? Really? Are you serious? Ah, I believe that. Not. But whatever. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to not talk about things like that. That's very disturbing. I don't know. Did anyone laugh at Guess 394? I don't think so. All right. So I'm going to prep one particular fajita so you'll know what we're looking at. Okay. Okay. Bueno. Good, huh? Okay, we're going to start the pre-show over on the other side. But let's do this for the finale, okay? Everything's off. Ta-da, da, 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 da. You don't mind if I clean up a little bit, do you? A good cook always cleans up after themselves, so this has got to go in the compost heap. Now there's no open food around the compost heap. Try to avoid putting open food around the compost heap. I had this discussion with Sarah today. It was kind of intense. Of course, there is a slice of cheese at the plate. But keep it away from your food. Luckily for us, we just washed the compost heap today, so there's absolutely no smell. But normally it would be kind of smelly. Not too good. Okay, here we go. Now what I normally do is take a corn tortilla, or flour tortilla in this particular case, and pull it up. It separates from the other one. Make sure they don't stick, so you want to separate them. Kind of leave them there kind of adjacent, loosely. There we go. We're going to put this on the plate, like so. I'm going to put the cheese down first. Now if you want, this is a quick way to pull this beef fajita out of the refrigerator. When it's cold, you take a simple tortilla like this, wheat tortilla, put some cheese on it, put the food on top, and then just zap it for 30 seconds. Stand back, get away from the radio frequencies. The scent is a Spanish, it feels like a tapas bar in Spain. Yeah. Tuscan. It has a Tuscan smell. Okay, you don't even have to go the full 30 seconds. It's ready to go. See? And then you take your food. I'm going to take a portion of this beautiful dish. top of there. Grab some nice ingredients like that. Fold it over. This is just one serving. And you serve it like that. Nice, huh? And then on the other side, we've got some beautiful cauliflower, already pre-steamed. Set there. And the longer you cook broccoli and cauliflower, the more it loses its vitamins. So you can garnish it with a little bit of butter if you want. That works. But I'm kind of keep my calories down, so I'm not going to have the butter. But there you go, voila, one meal. Actually, you'd have one meal if you had maybe if this was gone, this would be one meal, because the cauliflower and broccoli have to separate and go to the other side. All right, we're signing off. I'm going to close down this particular show, but thank you very much for experiencing a complete and wonderful meal, courtesy of Dave's Kitchen. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you over in the pre-show in just a few minutes. Hang in there. See you in a bit. Bye.